Alright, hello math fans. Okay, this is worksheet 2, and it's our key. Now, for the first part, it says, for what values of the variable is the rational expression undefined? Now, you need to understand, this worksheet is kind of broken up into two parts. It's, when you're looking where the rational expression is undefined, you basically set the denominator, or set the bottom, equal to 0. That's all you do, and you solve. So the bottom equals 0 and solve. Because you're trying to say if the bottom is equal to 0, it's undefined, right? Isn't 5 over 0 undefined? It's not 5 and it's not 1 or 5 or 0. 5 over 0 is undefined. So if the denominator, and look at the directions they're talking about. For what value is the rational of the variable is a rational expression undefined? Okay, those are the questions that are going to be asked on a quiz or test. Okay, so it's easy. X minus 3 equals 0. Add 3 to both sides. X equals 3. There you go. That's the answer to that one. Next one. X squared minus 64 equals 0. You can factor it if you want. X plus 8. X minus 8 equals 0. So X equals negative 8 and positive 8. That's your answer. Now, I kind of did this on purpose. Look at the top, man. It's brutal. X squared minus 105x plus 1,234. What do you do with that? I don't really care what you do that, because it doesn't matter. You only are concerned with the bottom of this fraction. Okay, so that is out of here, man. I don't care about that. So it's x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Then you factor. There's so much factoring that is involved in these problems. Unbelievable amount of factoring. X and x, it's going to be plus 6 and minus 1. That's going to give me positive 5x if I do the OI, which does. Okay, and set that equal to 0, so x plus 6 equals 0, so x equals negative 6, and x equals 1. And there you go. What are the values where it's undefined? At negative 6 and 1. Pretty easy. Okay, so now the second part is to simplify all results with positive exponents. Okay, so it's the first part, especially because there's no pluses, there's no minuses. Really, what you're going to do here, guys, is there's a lot of battle involved. You guys remember battling, okay? So this is like the numbers you just do like normal. So it's 12. This guy right here, 12 over 6 is 2. I do the battle of the A's. The A's cancel, don't they? Because they're both squared. And I do a battle of the B's. Who wins? Isn't that B to the first? And so those in the north win by 2. And since there's no denominator, that's my answer, 2b squared. Okay, this next one, that's negative 14. That's going to be 7 goes into that negative 2 times, 7 goes into 21 3 times. So it's negative 2/3. And then I have a battle. Make sure you put, you know, if you want to put a 1 there, just to help you out. So I have a to the first over a squared, so the bottom wins by 1. Battle of the B's, the north wins by 1. And battle of the C's, south wins by 1. And that's our answer. This is easy. Okay, again, here we'll have another battle. And the north wins by 2 for x, so x squared. And here the north wins by 1. And there's nothing in the bottom, so there it is, x squared y. Okay, next one. The south wins by 2 for m's. And the north wins by 1. That's it. Pretty easy schmeezy, people. Okay, another battle. South wins by 5, so c to the 5th in the bottom. The south wins by 2, so oops, so it's d squared. And you always need a placeholder, so there's a 1 on top there. So it's 1 over c to the 5th d squared. Okay, the next one, negative 15 over 3, that is just negative 5 over 1, or negative 5. Battle of the A's, the north wins by 1. Battle of the C's, south wins by 1. And you have negative 5a over c. Now, some of you guys might say, well, can we have a 1 on the bottom? Guys, if it's a 1 on the bottom, you don't write the 1. Okay? But if there's a 1 on top, like here I had to write a 1 because you don't want to write c to the 5th d squared. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have that as an answer. Okay? You need a placeholder. It makes sense if it's on top and it was c to the 5th d squared, because then you just say c to the 5th d squared. But you definitely have to put a 1 for that problem. All right? Okay, let's keep going here. Not much factoring yet, but we're going to get to it. Okay, this is the same thing. So 3 over 15 is 1/5, and the south wins by 1, and the south wins by 2. So it's 1 over 5ab squared. Okay, and again, if let's say the north won by something, and I had something on top, you don't need that 1. But here, if there's nothing else there, you got to put something there. Okay, the next group of problems, I'll tell you, whenever you see a plus or minus, math fans, you have to factor. It's almost 100% chance that you have to factor if you see pluses and minuses with x's and x squareds and whatnot. Okay, I can't stress that enough. So right away, I'm going to look at the top, and I can factor the top, and I can factor the bottom. Okay, the top factors to 3x and x, and this is going to be, and again, you got to think of your combinations here, but it's going to be, let's see, minus 3 and plus 2. I believe that is going to be the correct answer. And if I check it outside, I get negative 9x plus 2x is negative 7x. And that's it right there. Okay, the bottom, it's two terms. Greatest common factor always first, so it's 2x. And I get x minus 3. Okay? A lot of times stuff is going to cancel out, so the x minus 3's cancel. That's all you can do. Remember what I told you. You cannot cancel unless there is multiplication between terms, which there was. There was multiplication here and multiplication here. So I get 3x plus 2 over 2x. That's your final answer. Okay, the tricky thing about this one is you got to remember all your rules. So remember the rules were for the top, or for any of them, you got to put it in descending order first. So we get negative 3x cubed plus 24x squared over 15x cubed. And then I'm going to factor out negative 3x squared. So negative 3x squared. And if I do that, I just get x minus 8. And then it's 15x cubed there. And then these guys I can cancel out, right? So that's going to be negative parenthesis x minus 8, because the 3x squared cancels out and you just wind up getting 5x. So that's your answer. Negative parenthesis x minus 8 over 5x. Not bad. Okay, the next one, I'm going to, again, is it in descending order? And it is. So I'm going to factor 2x squared out on the top. So I get 2x squared, and I get 4x minus 1. And the bottom, I'm going to factor an x out, and I get 4x minus 1. They cancel. I want to do battle between that. 2x squared over x. The north wins by 1, so the answer to this problem is just 2x. Okay, 14, that's a difference of two squares on top, so it's x plus 4, x minus 4 over x minus 4. That cancels, and I get x plus 4. Okay, the next one, I'm going to factor the top. Bottom I can't factor. So you get m minus 4m minus 3. And guys, it's kind of a good indicator if you're trying to think of what combinations. If you got like m minus 4 here, it's probably a good thought that that top one is probably going to have an m minus 4 also, because that cancels. Not always the case, but a lot of times. So your answer is m minus 3. Okay, not too bad. Okay, 16, same thing, a factor. So 3 parentheses p minus 5. On the bottom, I get p minus 5, p plus 1. Okay, p minus 5's cancel, and I get 3 over p plus 1. That's it, not bad. Okay, the next one, again, see that c plus 9? I'm betting that you are going to have a c plus 9. And sure enough, c plus 9 and c minus 8. 9 times 8 is 72. And 9c minus 8c is positive 1c. So the c plus 9's cancel out, and we get 1 over c minus 8. Okay. This next one, it's a little tricky. How do you factor x squared plus 1? You can't. It doesn't factor. So you would have x squared plus 1. On the bottom, you'd have x plus 1, x minus 1. There's nothing to cancel out. Because in order to cancel out, you have to have exactly the same thing on top and the bottom to cancel. So that is actually your answer right there. Okay, number 19. Okay, I'm going to do a little factoring here. I'm going to factor out an x squared. And I get x minus 4. And on the bottom, I'm going to factor out an x. So the x minus 4's cancel. I have x squared over x, which is just x over 1 or x. Not bad. Okay, the next one. I'm going to factor, so I get t and t. It's going to be plus 11 and plus 3, because that gives me 3t plus 11t is 14t. And the bottom is going to be t plus 11 and t plus 5, because 5t plus 11t is 16t. There we go, guys. T plus 11 is cancel, and your answer is t plus 3 over t plus 5. Okay, this next one, you don't even have to factor. You could, but really you have the same on top and the same on the bottom. What's that equal to? If it's the same on top and the same on the bottom, it's equal to 1. If you did factor, you'd get x minus 3, x plus 3, over x minus 3, x plus 3. They would all cancel, and that would equal 1. Okay? So far, so good. This one, I'm going to put it in descending order. X plus 5 over 2x plus 5. Can I factor anything? No. Can I cancel anything? I can't. Okay, in order to cancel, it has to be the same on the top and the bottom, and it's not. So that's actually my answer. Okay, the next one. Okay, in a factor, I get a and a plus 7 minus 2. That'll work out. The bottom, I'm going to actually factor out a negative first. So I get a squared plus 2a minus 8. So I really get a plus 7, a minus 2 over parenthesis, or negative parenthesis, a plus 4a minus 2. The a minus 2's cancel, and you wind up getting, and the negative, if there's just a negative there, guys, the negative goes to the top. It's just always the case. So a plus 7 over a plus 4. That's it. Okay, next one, I'm going to factor out a 2. And the bottom, I'm going to factor out a 4. Okay, that cancels, and 2/4, which is 1/2. Alright, not too bad. Okay, I showed you the shortcut for this, and I'm going to show it to you again. I'm going to do the long way first. I'm going to flip that around, negative x plus 2, to put in descending order. And then the only thing I can factor is the bottom. I can factor out a negative 1. So I get x minus 2 over negative parenthesis, and then if I factor that out, I get x minus 2, which I want you guys to see that cancels. So I have 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. But if you recognize x minus 2 over 2 minus x, it's always, if it's the same number, except flipped around, it's always equal to negative 1. So 2x minus 1700 over 1700 minus 2x, negative 1. Okay, it's important to recognize that. Okay, but let's actually go to 27. See, that's y minus 2 over, switch over y plus 2. There's nothing you could do there. Everything is already factored out. There's nothing you can do that's not the same, so that is your answer. Okay, 28. Well, let's put it in descending order. X plus 3 over x plus 3. There's nothing to factor out. That, it's the same thing over itself. That equals 1. Okay, not bad. And then 26, you got to factor. X plus 2, x minus 2. Factor 2 out of there, 2x minus 2. So x minus 2's cancel, and we have x plus 2 over 2. That's your final answer. Okay, so that's the worksheet, guys. A lot of stuff in there, but there's a ton of factoring, and again, you could only cancel if it's the same on the top and the bottom, and there's multiplication. Okay, so just giving you a random problem here. If I said 7x over 7x plus 14. Okay, I know it's so tempting. It's so tempting to cross those 7x's out. Man, I just want to do it. I want to cross those out. You can't do it. You need to realize that you have to factor. So I factor 7 onto the bottom, and I get x plus 2. Then I can cancel the 7's out. So my answer is x over x plus 2. You can't cancel the x out because there's addition below. So it's just x over x plus 2. Okay? Anyway, that's it, math fans. I hope you guys did well on this worksheet and you learned something. All right? Have a nice day. Bye-bye.